I want to talk about Booger. And did you know the entire staff got fired over at Blink 1027?
Booger too?
Booger, everyone. The whole 27 people lost their job.
Oh, that's a shame.
It was a massacre.
Now I know why Kingston left. He
didn't want to do that?
Well, here's the deal. Radio is the suckiest business. I know a lot of people who think about getting into radio, look at my career and go, hey, great, the guy makes good money. He's
always working.
The reality is that a career in radio, I have been incredibly fortunate to be able to work at the same station for 20 years, not have to move around the country. Once you have a family and kids and all that kind of stuff, moving every year.
Can you imagine if your career stayed the way it was?
Oh, you go insane.
Your children would have had 500 different schools by now.
Well, most of the guys I know who got into radio either got out and got regular jobs.
I meet ex-radio guys all the time doing other things now.
Yeah, or they stayed in because they're insane. But it's a horrible, horrible career. And that's why you see like young guys like Booger in it and all this kind of stuff. The older guys, very few stay in it.
Right, you can't do it.
It's a crappy career. And, very few guys don't have to move all the time. So the station, our company started a new format on one of the stations here. NEW was a legendary rock station that did bad. Then they decided to take it all talk with like Howard Stern clones, and Opie and Anthony and Don and Mike and... I don't even know who else was on there. The whole station pained me, so I never listened to it. And then when Opie and Anthony self-destructed and just went berserk because they were so desperate to kind of be something other than Howard Stern or... Right,
they were trying to eclipse you.
They wanted to eclipse me. They had to prove they were badder than I was.
They figured this out all on their own.
Yeah. So, all right, so they did themselves in. They weren't thinking. And they really blew it. But anyway, so when that station went off the air, they made it Blink 1027 for women. Yeah,
they came up with this new concept.
Which I wasn't sure I got for a couple of reasons. Number one, why say your station is for women? That's excluding 50. I'm a guy, and let's say I like it. Then all of a sudden I hear it's for women. They even say this is for women.
Right.
You feel like a total, douchebag.
You can't listen, can you? If
no.
They say it's for women, what are you doing?
I'm like, well, wait a second. I'm a man. I shouldn't be listening to this. So
it's like if I see a movie on Lifetime I kind of like, I immediately turn it off.
It's very weird to say you're for women.
Well, you know what they were trying, because I understand there's a lot of TV people. They were fragmenting the audience much like cable does.
Yeah. Well, they try to do that with me. I read in the paper all the time. Oh, his audience is all men. And I go, wait a second. Take a look at the ratings. We have more men than women, but we have a lot of women who listen. I would never say this is a show just for men.
But, nobody's ever saying this is male programming.
No. Whoever wants to listen can listen. The more listeners I have, the better off I am. So I thought that was weird. Then they hired a bunch of TV guys from MTV, VH1, to put together the radio station. And the problem with that is guys who work in TV spend tons of money. They don't get...
Radio doesn't get that concept.
It was driving me crazy how much money they were spending.
The big party they had just to announce everything was
the launch
ridiculous.
Party.
Yeah.
They always have big launch parties in TV. Radio, there's no such thing as a launch party. There's no such thing as a Christmas party.
Do you remember that invitation for that launch party? It was like, it had 8 sections to it, the invitation.
Yeah.
Wow.
Big waste of money.
It's as big as Dominic's son's wedding.
And the thing is, who's going to get an invitation to the launch party? Not the guy who listens every day, or the woman in this case, but, just people in the industry. I don't even know what that was about. I guess to attract advertisers. Who knows?
I think it was to attract attention, to get a lot of media buzz the way they do in television.
So Booker had his job in entertainment tonight, and Linda's the sister of Jennifer Lopez, so they put the two of them together for mornings. And I guess they were the most visible. Right. Now that the station failed, you read big picture of them, now they look like two failures. Meanwhile, they were just doing what they were told. So now he's out of a job. I know like the Tim Virgin came over there. I think he was supposed to be hired here, and Steve convinced him to come over there. And he gave up his job in Washington. He had a great job, a radio job. Now he's out of work. All these radio dudes are out of work who had great jobs.
Yeah, I read that over the weekend. I was like, oh my goodness, what's going to happen?
29 people who left good jobs in radio to come to New York are now fired. And I got to tell you
And
something.
they put their faith in that company that said, we're going to do this, and we're standing by it, and we know what we're doing. And they bought into it. Now they're out of luck.
I don't know why they had to fire those guys. From what I've heard, I haven't listened to the station. Evidently, no one has. But now it's a station only for women.
And it's going to be music.
And it's going to be music. But what, those guys can't spin the records?
I was like, Booker's a DJ? What's the problem?
I don't know. So I got a call Friday from Joel Hollander.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know who that is?
Yeah, guy who runs the company.
I don't know what he does.
I think he does. Anyway, when I see him, that's what he tells me.
There's so many new guys in the radio division who run stuff. So I guess Joel was calling me to give me a heads up on what's going on.
Oh.
But I call him back. He's not there, and he never called me back. So, it was just one of those calls that I don't even think they were for real. He could have called me over the weekend. I would have loved to hear what was going on. So Booger called me right away.
Did he?
Yeah.
I wondered about that when I read it.
Booker was like, oh, great. He goes, and they're pinning it on me.
Yeah, because it looked like they took down the station because they didn't work.
I felt bad for the guy because, I know where that's at. They make it seem like you suck.
And that the only way to save themselves is to get away from you.
Yeah. Yeah. He was working with his girlfriend anyway, and that's not good. I don't think he was so happy.